Life will never go back to the way it was before March of 2020, but it's starting to feel like my life again. In fact, this almost feels like deja vu. One of the last places I traveled before the pandemic was Iceland, and we're here to explore once again. But first, today's video is sponsored by Squarespace.com. Not only are there some incredible templates to help you make your website look ultra professional, but there are so many tools to help you build a strong online business. There's blogging tools, there's e-commerce integration, and there's even a way to create a members-only section to your website. To get you started, head to squarespace.com/BrendanVanzen for a 10% discount on your first purchase. Good morning, guys. I am in Iceland. And yeah, I've just been all over the place, actually, haven't I? Which is great. It's so good to be back to work. I'm running another workshop here. Basically, most of my travels for this year are gonna be running around catching up on the workshops that had to be postponed from 2020 and 2021. So a lot of workshops, but that is not something I'm complaining about at all. I love doing the workshops, and I get to hang out with Greg because Greg's assisting me on this one. Gregoire, what do you think of the weather?
Well, this is a nice introduction to Iceland. Hail, sideways. Take a look at the back of the van. So I just packed the van this morning, and look at how much hail is down in that corner. Woohoo! Go time.
Go time indeed. Iceland is hitting us with its rite of passage. Wild winds, icy roads, and snow blowing in every direction. But we push through it.
Okay, so we're at our first location. Whew, jeez, trying to get away from the vehicle, and the wind is insane. So I don't think we'll actually get any photos here because even just standing up is a little bit tricky. And occasionally there's like hail blasting through. It's it's a little bit Icelandic this morning.
At our first location, I didn't even take my camera out. With heavy winds and hail, it just wasn't gonna happen. And after being pelted by hail for like a half an hour, we pushed through the winds and onward to the sea stacks of Snæfellsnes Peninsula. Again, it was just way too windy for a tripod, so we moved on. In Godafoss, we settled into our hotel and made somebody's dreams come true.
Am I gonna be on YouTube?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You are YouTube. Okay, so I'm paying for parking, which I'm actually really stoked about because we're at Kirkjufell, and this place is probably one of the most photographed by photographers places in the world. And there used to be like a 5-car parking lot up here, and it was a zoo. And then they put a new one on the road, and it was 8 cars, and it was a zoo. And everybody was piled all over the road. And then now they've built this massive parking lot. And because of COVID, we're the only ones here, and they don't need it. Two bad things and a good thing. The good thing is I have never ever been here since the first time I was here like 8 years ago, where there was no other photographers. The only people here is our group. That's crazy. The second bad thing is the weather sucks.
maybe that's why there's no other photographers here. And the third bad thing, so actually there's just, no, wait.
Wait, I got the third bad thing.
The second bad thing.
The new Sony makes your skin tone look purple.
Yeah, thanks Sony. The second bad thing is that I'm an idiot because I left my ball head in Portugal. The one problem with not being nomadic is I no longer have everything I own with me. So sometimes I just forget things at home. I forgot my ball head at home, and luckily somebody else on the group has a three-legged thing tripod and they're lending me their little tiny punk ball head. But it looks so out of place on the giant tripod, it's hilarious.
Tiny ball head or not, Kirkjufellsfoss is always special. It was carved for photographers, full of drama and staged with a built-in composition. No matter how you set up your camera here, you can't go wrong. Unless you do this. So I had a bit of an incident yesterday. I was taking that picture right after basically I talked to you guys, and the photo wasn't great. So I set my tripod up and then sillily or stupidly walked away and went to help some of the participants and kind of guide them through some of the photos. And when I walked away, I thought, I left my tripod standing up in Iceland. And I looked over and a massive, massive gust of wind came up, picked up my camera and tripod and launched it over the cliff at Kirkjufellsfoss and went tumbling down and crashed to the ground. Amazingly, nothing shattered. My camera body's still totally fine. I'm filming with that same camera body. The lens, though, has an issue. It's still, nothing's broken, and when you shoot through it, it still focuses, everything still looks great, but the zoom is stuck at 19, and I can't move the zoom at all. So I'm guessing one of the gears on the inside broke or got stuck. So I have no 15 to 35 millimeter left for the whole trip, and it's day 2. So luckily I have 17 to 40. So I'm just basically missing 2 millimeters, and maybe I gained 5 millimeters. So I gotta look at the positive side of things. And yeah, that's how things are going. It's still dark, even though it's 9:20 in the morning, and we're heading back to Kirkjufellsfoss now. It snowed a lot last night, so the conditions might be pretty cool this morning.
So about 2 minutes ago, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face because of this weather that blew through like a blizzard, and then out of nowhere, blue skies all around us, and you can still see these crazy clouds off in the distance, and occasionally some wind blows you in the face. But absolutely beautiful this morning, and it's only 10 in the morning, so we still have 50 minutes until sunrise. There's just so much atmosphere right now, and everything looks really blue and crisp, and there's this fresh snow, and so we're up taking pictures, yeah, well before sunrise. There's a photo that I've never taken here that I saw when I was walking over the bridge yesterday, and I want to try to take it, but basically it's not of the falls, it's of the top of the falls, with the river twisting down towards the sea, with a fjord and these peaks off in the distance and town off in the distance. Really wide angle, probably 17 millimeters. Good morning, Bruce. So this frame is pretty simple, actually. I'm just shooting wide, really wide down, and I wish I had the extra 2 millimeters of the 15. But basically you just have the meandering lines right out to sea and then into town. But the challenge of it is that it's really hard to tell if things are, the horizons are flat, because the mountains bend, the water bends, so honestly I'm kind of just guessing and using the level and hoping it looks okay. But it does look a little bit like, I don't know. The settings are f11, 8 seconds, ISO 100, and I'm at 17 millimeters. There's a 2-stop medium grad on top just to hold in the light, and strangely, there's no photographers in my shot.
Having Kirkjufellsfoss to ourselves is almost unheard of, and I'm sure this will be the only time in my life that I have it like this. But without my 15 to 35 millimeter and a proper ball head, I'm feeling silly. The weather is silly too. It bounces from nearly clear and calm to whiteout conditions and chaos every 5 minutes.
Yo!
We're experiencing some tropical weather. I think this is Tropical Storm Irene. Yeah, it's just a little bit too warm to be taking pictures, so we're gonna pack up and head somewhere else because cameras can't really handle the heat.
You still have a fat tank? What's that?
Yeah, this is, just so you guys know, it's cabin guaranteed. So we've been absolutely battered by these gusts of snow and wind. But I still think maybe there was a photo there, actually. And it's kind of funny, but I definitely feel like I'm missing those last 2 millimeters. Size definitely does matter. And I didn't think that was gonna be the case. I thought 17 is gonna be the same as 15. But there was like 2 or 3 frames that I just wanted a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, this has been a typical Icelandic day and it's kind of been fun. We're heading north now, and yeah, let's continue, see what happens.
And within a couple kilometers of being on the highway, we found ourselves again being knocked around by the weather. I'm not gonna lie, there were moments I had no idea where the highway even was, or if we were still on it. But eventually, we made it to Iceland's north and the stunning blues of Godafoss.
Okay, so we were fighting with weather. We still are, but it seems like it's about to clear off. In fact, there's falling snow right now, but there's patches of blue sky off that way, and the wind has died down. It's gotten very cold. It's like minus 15, minus 18, somewhere in that range this morning, but there's no wind. So we're just excited to be out taking pictures without getting tripods knocked over. And this has been such a disaster for me. This trip, I forgot my ball head. My camera got launched off a cliff, my lens is screwed. But at the same time, I've been having so much fun, I can't even really complain about anything. I think I've taken 4 pictures the whole time. But yeah, we're at Godafoss. I absolutely love this place, so I'm gonna try to get a cool photo of it. Okay, so remember how I said you should never leave your camera by itself? I did it again, because I'm an idiot and I don't learn from my mistakes. But there's a lot of mistakes that I've made on this trip so far, like beyond more than any professional should ever make, and I'm not even gonna use the COVID excuse or out of practice because I've been back at work for like 4 months. I just suck on this trip. But the camera's still upright, which is good. But I want to show you that you might forget a lot of things. There's one thing that you should never ever forget. Actually, two things you should never ever forget. The first is a shower cap. Don't buy those fancy $80 covers. They're stupid. They're a waste of money. Go into your hotel and take a shower cap. And the reason you have this is we're at this waterfall and there's just a gentle sea mist, but it's minus 15 degrees. And that sea mist, waterfall mist, hits the filters and freezes instantly. I always have it covered like this. And then once I'm ready to take a picture, I'll basically get set up more or less so it's ready. Then I'll pop that off and then I'll have my photo lined up and take it. The other thing, don't waste your time with lens cloths, like the cheap lens cloths that they sell you in camera stores. Get like these industrial strength microfibers, because the front of the camera gets so much ice that you really need to like pressure wash it or pressure rinse it with your hand. It just sticks to it. Look at this, it's frozen solid inside the holder. Ice frozen to the front. So yeah, if you come to Iceland, forget all your shit. Just don't forget this or this.
Mist from the falls turned to ice almost as soon as it hit my gear. I mean, as if this trip hasn't been hard enough on my equipment, right? But complaining in a place like this is beyond silly.
I just gotta say, I've missed having Greg around because he's so complimentary of me. He literally just said, Brendan, your eyes are the same color as the waterfall.
Thanks, buddy. It's the truth, you know. Now that I have a son, he also has blue eyes. No idea where that came from. Yeah,
anyways, photo. Woo! Really quickly, I'm obsessed with finding foreground, middle ground, background in my photo to create depth. So I've been struggling and trying to find something here that I can do wide angle, and I think I found something. I've just got this tuft of yellow grass in the foreground, waterfall in the middle ground, and then the mountain in the background. There's not really crazy light, but it's very moody and I love it. And it's pretty simple. I've got a 3-stop ND on, a 2-stop medium grad ND that's probably not necessary to be honest. And then I'm 3.2 seconds and F11 ISO 100. Here's the photo.
It took 3 days in Iceland for the weather to cooperate. But in a sign of things to come in this series, the weather started to turn in our favor. The best of Iceland is about to show itself.
Yeah, and it's so good to be back with Greg on the road. Greg's life has changed so much since you've seen him last. And I guess mine has too. I now have 2 coffee shops and a coffee roaster. Like, what is going on? Yeah, I can't even express how good it is to be out freezing my butt off, having gear issues, struggling, and I just love it. And as weird as that sounds, I love it. We'll be back again from the north of Iceland. It's supposed to be decent weather, I hope, the next couple days, but I guess we'll see. And I guess I'll see you there. Peace.